This week on Today's Homeowner, we're giving an old dark kitchen a facelift worthy of the historic home it lives in. While we transform this room into the kitchen the owner always wanted, we'll also share lots of tips and ideas you can use to do the same at your house. A kitchen facelift, that's a project that a lot of homeowners are thinking about taking on at their house, and these homeowners have been thinking about it ever since they moved into this house 18 years ago. Now this house is fairly old. It's 99 years old and requires a fair amount of maintenance, particularly on the outside, and over the years we've done a lot of projects for these homeowners that include repairing work on the outside, building a large garage in the side yard, and a number of other things that required to keep this place looking as good as it does now. But they're ready to take on this kitchen renovation. Now what's going to be involved here is removing all of the old doors. Even though they're not 99 years old, they're still very dated. Also, all of the cabinets will be painted, a little bit of cabinet alteration here to accommodate some new appliances, and they tell me they've had their fill of this old busy wallpaper, so this will have to go. Now another thing we'll be replacing in this kitchen facelift, all of the countertops. Now this is a true wood butcher block. It's 1.5 inches thick, and you just don't see this much anymore because it's fairly expensive, and a lot of homeowners have discovered it's fairly hard to maintain. And because it's wood, very porous, and that's a place that can harbor a lot of germs. Now you can see we've already gotten a good start on this, but take a look at what it looked like before we got here this morning. In general, the kitchen was functional and in pretty good shape, but it was hard to love. The wood floors and the appliances were both pretty much worse for wear, and the sea of dark colors gave the room a heavy feeling. In short, the owner was ready for a change.
I think the thing I like least about the kitchen is the fact that there's very little light. The cabinets are very dark, and I never have liked the butcher block counters. When we moved in the house 18 years ago, the kitchen had recently been remodeled and it was very nicely done. But it wasn't really to my taste, but it was so nicely done that I have lived with it for 18 years. But as the appliances started to wear out, I thought that was the opportunity I had to really make it like I would like it, which is light, but keeping with the the historic nature of the house itself. I didn't want it to be ultra sleek and modern, but I would like light, and I wanted different cabinets, and I really wanted a china cabinet to display my mother's china. So those were sort of my goals as I got started.
So our guys went to work taking the kitchen apart.
I just think the whole look is going to be really different. I'm one of those people that I can see the vision. In a former life, I used to be a realtor, and I could go into a house that people thought was just a dump, and I could see potential there. And I just know this kitchen can really be great, and I know that I've been looking at magazines, talking to people, going to other houses, and I can see it. I just know we're going to love it. It's going to be light. I'm going to reduce the size of the island. I'm excited about being able to sit at the counter and watch TV. I'm going to put a little TV in the kitchen, something we've never had before. So I'm excited about that, and the new appliances, just all of it.
One thing about any kitchen renovation is it can get crowded fairly quickly, and they're in the process of taking care of some of the alterations necessary for the new appliances to fit in the existing cabinets. One thing you have to think about when you're doing a kitchen renovation, especially a facelift like this, is making sure the cabinets are good enough quality to justify the time and expense to put all new doors on. Well, looking at these, they're in pretty good shape. It's all wood construction, and we have all of the hardware that seems to be in pretty good shape. The drawer guides and everything seem to be holding up well, so just with a little bit of sanding, paint, and all the new doors and hardware, they should look fantastic. Now another thing that we wanted to use that was original to the house, of course these are only about 30 years old and not original, but the hardwood floor has been here all 99 years, and apparently a lot of sanding and refinishing's taken place over the years. And usually we can take any kind of hardwood floor, sand off a little bit of the surface, resand it, reseal it, and it looks great. Well, this one we can't do that because you can see on this one we have the tongue showing from the tongue and groove configuration of the wood, and if we sanded any more of the surface off, we would see a lot more of this. That won't work. So we're going to have to come up with some kind of solution for this problem. So while the demo work continues, let's check out Joe's simple solution.
Everyone knows when you're fastening things to a wall, it's best to screw directly into a wall stud. Unfortunately, the stud never seems to be located exactly where you need the screw. So often you'll see people using plastic anchors. The anchor gets driven into a hole in the wall and the screw goes in. The problem is there's nothing really preventing the anchor from just pulling out of the wall. So these are really only good for lightweight items. Now, a better solution is to use either a toggle bolt or a molly bolt. The way a toggle works is it's a machine bolt with a toggle, which is a spring-loaded pair of wings. When you push it through the hole in the wall, the toggle spreads open and then you can tighten the screw against the back of the wall. The way a molly works is you drive it into the wall and there are little spikes on the underside of the head. And they grip the wall, and as you tighten the screw, this metal collar collapses and grips the back of the wall. Now the advantage to a molly is that you can remove the screw and replace it several times. With a toggle, every time you take the screw out, the toggle bolt will fall down inside the wall and you have to replace it.
We are right in the middle of this extensive kitchen facelift, and as you can see, Michael, our painter, is applying a coat of primer over the existing cabinets. Now, he's using an oil primer, and if you could smell the odor in this room, you could realize why he's relying on his respirators to try to minimize that smell. But oil primer is the absolute best way to paint a set of cabinets. You start with the primer, allow it to dry overnight. Next morning, you'll sand everything down just a little bit with some light sandpaper and apply one of two top coats using oil enamel to give you the most durable finish you can get when painting a set of cabinets. Now this is a fairly extensive kitchen facelift because in addition to painting all of the cabinets, we're also replacing all of the cabinet doors, all of the hardware, the drawer fronts, obviously the countertop, and we have quite a bit of work to do on the existing hardwood floor that's 99 years old, and we found a few problems with it, so we have a fair amount of work to do there. Also, on any kitchen remodeling project, it's a good idea to upgrade the electrical lighting because you have to have the adequate even light throughout a kitchen, and we've got a good bit of work that we have to do to the ceiling there to finish it off, but won't be long, that'll be ready for a coat of paint. Now at this point, the homeowners have made a lot of decisions and they have a pretty good idea of what this kitchen will look like once we complete all of the work. But if you're not at that point yet, here's a few ideas of some of the trends that are real popular these days.
You know what's hot in remodeling kitchens nowadays is a trend towards mixed cabinetry. I think you can see it in our kitchen here. We've used a dark cherry, we've used a maple praline, and we've used a painted white maple. And all together, those give a kitchen a very friendly and warm look. They make it feel a little bit unfitted, furniture pieces, and they make it feel like it came together over time, which has a little bit of grandma's kitchen in it, which is always a friendly thing. There is no kitchen too small to incorporate those kinds of ideas. If you have a smaller space, you have to think a little bit more about the proportions of the different colors and styles and finishes that you use, but you can incorporate it into any size kitchen. If you're using wonderful materials, it works anywhere. In countertops, we're seeing a lot of solid surfacing still, which has been a popular surface in the past and what we used in our kitchen. We're seeing, of course, a lot of granite. I think a lot of people think, if I have a granite countertop, I've got an upscale kitchen, and it does lend that nice earthy feel. The feel of stone is a good solid, has a lot of heft and good feel to it. But we're also seeing some very contemporary kitchens using cement and concrete for the countertops. And we have a real mixture of surfaces that we see. It depends on the colors and other surfaces and cabinetry used in the kitchen.
Margaret told us she wanted her kitchen brighter, and it'll certainly be that. Once Michael is done painting the cabinet boxes a lighter shade, the new cabinet doors arrive, already painted the same color. Boy, do they make a difference in the way this room feels. And the new accessories and custom inserts we're adding to the cabinets should also make a big difference in the way the kitchen functions. What a great way to get a nice looking finish on a set of cabinets by having the cabinet maker spray all of the cabinet doors, which is the predominant surface you see in a kitchen, and then have our painter out on the job site paint the rest of the cabinets with a brush. Boy, that looks great. You know, whether you're renovating a kitchen very extensively or just doing a minor facelift, it's important to use every bit of space you have available, and here's a good example where we've done that in this kitchen. Cabinet maker had a great idea to create this set of cabinets on this wall where there were no cabinets before, and he did something interesting here by recessing the cabinets back to keep from encroaching on the old historic trim, and did the same thing on the other side, allowed the middle to project out for more space, and really adds a lot of interest to the kitchen. Another thing that's taking place right now to keep a lot of that character in this historic house is refinishing the existing back door. Our painter's in the process right now of stripping all that old finish off of it so that it can be restained, and that'll look great. Be a nice little contrast with that stain and the painted cabinets. Now, the next logical step in a kitchen like this is to install the countertops, and our granite fabricators have already been out to take all of their templates and use that for their fabrication, and they'll be installing that in just about a week. But we don't want to waste any time, so we're going to concentrate on refinishing the floor. The new floor has already been installed, and this is an engineered type of wood that is the perfect width and thickness that we needed. It matches almost perfectly the level of the adjacent floor. Now our challenge is to make sure the stain matches up with the existing finish. And we'll be taking care of that in just a little bit, but right now, check out our best new product of the week.
No matter what stage of life you happen to be in, having an extra door key to prevent accidental lockouts is a great idea. But leaving the key under the doormat isn't. So GE has designed a new state-of-the-art digital key box that is the perfect solution. The unique design lets you mount it to your door frame, and since it's very low profile, it'll complement the door rather than call attention to it. The metal box is weather resistant and comes in beige, gray, or white. It has a simple to use push button combination, and the LCD display will show you the last 9 access times so you'll know exactly when someone has entered your home. Now this is perfect for the kids to be able to have a key without you having to worry about them losing it. And it's also ideal for trusted tradespeople. One-hand operation means you can quickly gain access, and you can change the 4-digit code anytime you want for extra security. Now, it'll cost you about $35 for this key box, but if you've ever had to call a locksmith, well, I think you'll agree that it's well worth the price for safety and security.
Today we're following the renovation of a kitchen in a 99-year-old home. So far we've made some great improvements to brighten up the place with a coat of paint and some new cabinet doors, but the floors needed a bit more help. The old wood floors were so worn out they couldn't be refinished again, so we've installed new planks over the old ones, and now the guys are sanding them down one last time before they apply the stain, which should make them match the rest of the house. That's followed by several coats of polyurethane to seal the wood and protect the finish. And our hardwood floor turned out great. You may notice we installed this in a different direction than it originally was. A couple reasons for that. The original floor was laying in this direction, and we installed this in this direction because it's always a good idea if you can install hardwood floor in the direction of the longest dimension in the room. It gives you a more spacious feel and is somewhat inviting when you walk into the room. Also, in this particular situation, the original floor in the house is laid in this direction, so it helps to blend it all together. Looks great, but nobody's allowed on the job today because we're making sure that it dries nice and hard before all of the finish work takes place, and we're even wearing our socks to make sure we're not responsible for any of the damage. Now, the finishing touches will include, of course, the countertop and the appliances, and this project will really be complete at that point. But you can see the hardware has already been installed. And Margaret did a great job in picking out this old world type of hardware. You can see the handles and the look of it's just perfect for this age house and this style cabinets. And man, I'm seeing a lot of homeowners picking this type of finish for light fixtures and other pieces of hardware around the house. Now, our next big step here is the installation of the granite countertops. And you might think, because of all of the light colors that we have in this kitchen, that Margaret would have chosen a nice dark countertop, but surprisingly, she chose a real bright one. This variety of granite is called New Venetian Gold, and although it's light in color, it still has lots of character and veining, so it shouldn't be too hard to keep clean. The color may be light, but this stuff still weighs plenty, so the installers take their time dry fitting each piece before securing it down to the cabinets. That's time consuming, but very necessary, and it really does transform the look of a kitchen, which is why granite seems to be so popular with homeowners.
Now, before you rush out and buy your granite, there's an education process involved. First of all, understand that granite is a very porous rock. That means it will stain easily, and it must be sealed. In fact, you're going to have to keep sealing it. I always tell people at least every other year, plan on sealing the granite. Then keep in mind also that it's rare for granite to have a warranty. Now, some companies will offer a limited warranty, but the limitations list about as long as my arm. So, If granite is still in your heart, you've got to have it. I've got some good news for you. In the form of 2 words, Granite Transformations. It's a company that has a fairly novel approach at Granite. Darren, you're here to tell me how this works.
Absolutely. What we do is we'll come into your home, we'll make a custom template of your countertops, we'll install it in 1 day, and we back it up with a lifetime warranty.
Now, how durable is this? Because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a very thin veneer, it looks like to me.
Absolutely, yeah. What it is, I'll tell people all the time, I say, don't let this little guy fool you here. This is more durable than ordinary granite will ever be, and the reason why is permanently sealed in a polymer resin. So we can actually take and heat this material up and bend it to a 30-degree radius.
Oh, wow. Now, speaking of bending and radiuses, you've got a couple different profiles here?
Absolutely. We got your straight edge here, which we call the Euro, and we do the beveled edge.
Looks cool.
Now also, it is heat, stain, and scratch resistant. So no sealing, permanently sealed for life.
Wow. Now, also, not just for kitchen cabinets.
Absolutely not. You can do it in bathrooms, you can do it on fireplaces, RVs, boats. We can pretty much go anywhere that there's a solid surface.
Now, Alan tells me that the cost of this material is on par with some of the less expensive varieties of slab granite, so it's still an investment, but the quick turnaround and warranty will make it a very attractive option for many homeowners. Meanwhile, back in Margaret's kitchen, the counters are done and the electricians and plumbers have taken over to trim out all of their respective fixtures and install all of the appliances. While they finish up with their work, let's look into a question from one of our viewers.
Danny, I heard you talk about a home warranty before. What is it, and do I really need it?
A home warranty is a service contract that usually lasts for a year, and it helps to protect homeowners against the cost of unexpected repairs or replacements on their major systems or appliances that break down due to just normal wear and tear. This annual contract can be a significant savings, especially if you're not particularly handy with home repairs. Now, when you have a covered problem, you should simply just call your warranty provider to arrange for a local pre-screened service technician to contact you to take care of the problem. Now, having a home warranty can help you avoid the expense, hassle, and frustration of those unexpected home repairs. And since the technicians are pre-screened by the warranty company, you can rely on the credibility of the individuals that are handling those repairs for you. Now, when you compare the cost of normal home repairs against the annual cost of a home warranty contract, it's something worth considering. The kitchen we started with this week was dark and dated, and though it wasn't original to this historic house, it had definitely seen better days. With the facelift complete, the new kitchen is lighter and brighter thanks to the repainted cabinets, some new lighting overhead, and the beautiful new countertops. The old worn floor is gone, replaced by a new wood floor that preserves the home's historic character and lends warmth to the whole space. Even though I've been in the remodeling business for over 30 years and have remodeled hundreds of kitchens, I still get a kick out of seeing the completed kitchen, especially after the homeowners have moved in and started really enjoying the space. You know, you can improve your kitchen by simply changing the hardware, painting the cabinets, or you can go very extensive in your renovation and completely remove all of the cabinets and replace them. Or you can go somewhere in between like we did on this kitchen, and it turned out pretty nice. Next week, we head to LA for the Living Green Tour to help you achieve a greener lifestyle.